Today we will explore a variety of modifications, from a turbo-realistic sawmill with animations to integrating dirt colors on our machines. We'll start with something not directly related to agriculture, a powerful firefighter mod. This mod would fit perfectly into an episode about the strangest modifications, because who would expect firefighters in a game focused on farming simulation? However, it is a very well-crafted addition, so if you've ever dreamed of becoming a firefighter, you will love this mod. It's not just a simple modification, it's a completely new career path in Farming Simulator 22. Imagine being called to extinguish fires, rescue people from car accidents, and perform other rescue tasks. With a full set of original fire vehicles and equipment, you can respond quickly and effectively to any call. But that's not all. The firefighting missions are incredibly realistic, with fire and smoke effects that will make you feel like real firefighters. Spreading fires and the associated dangers add authenticity to each rescue mission. Each mission presents a new challenge that will test your skills and reflexes. Moreover, this mod is available in both single player and multiplayer modes. You can organize a team with your friends and face the dangers together, saving virtual lives and property. This is a mod that will surely appeal not only to fans of firefighting, but also to anyone seeking exciting challenges. Am I the only one missing physics in this game? I'm not even talking about soil physics, but for example, the cars seem glued to the ground, or with straw. If you forget to lift the header in the real world, the combine will reprocess the straw and spit it out again. Sometimes a few grains might even get into the header, because there's no perfect combine that collects every single grain. The creator of this mod understands this and has added exactly the features I've mentioned. Rethreshing straw isn't profitable, but you'll always get something. On a real farm, machines work at full throttle, and sometimes it feels like parts of the machinery are about to break off. In Farming Simulator, it doesn't quite work that way. It feels like the machines are glued to the tractor with super strong adhesive, and it seems more likely that the tractor would break in half before a machine would detach. However, we can quickly fix this by adding a modification that makes the 3-point attacher work as it should, adding more realism and life to it. This is best seen with a weight attached, which with this mod sways back and forth like it's on a swing, almost as if it's about to fall off. In the first episode, where I showcased modifications that make our gameplay more realistic, I introduced a mod that adds better dust effects. Dust appears when it's not raining and generally when it's dry. The modification I've prepared for today adds realistic mud particles, and it works in conjunction with the previously mentioned dust mod. This means that depending on the ground you're driving on, you'll leave behind either a trail of mud or a cloud of dust. If you want to feel like you're on a real farm, don't play this game. Playing Farming Simulator, you don't have to worry about feeling like you're in a real village, because the game's creators go out of their way to make things less realistic. A prime example of this is the silage bales. When creating their model, it would have been enough to make them more rounded, because the wrapper doesn't wrap them in one direction and then stick the film on the side. But don't worry, there's a solution for everything, and in this case, it's this mod that simply makes your bales rounded just like in reality. It immediately feels better. A real farmer, during their free time or after a really dirty job, has to wash their machines. In Farming Simulator, we also have this option, but it's quite boring to be honest, because our tractor always gets dirty in the same way. I'm not talking about the distribution of the dirt, but its color. However, we can fix this with a modification that adds 10 different dirt color variations and improves several other related aspects. Thanks to this, we won't have to wonder what our tractor was last used for. We just need to look at its dirt. Who forgets to turn off their turn signal? Hands up. Now I know how many people have a unique car, because in every standard car, the turn signal automatically turns off when you straighten the wheels. It's similar with tractors, although I've personally driven older models where it varied. However, when I had the chance to drive a larger one, if I recall correctly, the turn signal turned off automatically. I might be mistaken though, because in our Farming Simulator, it doesn't work like that, and we always have to remember to turn it off manually. But honestly, I don't know anyone who uses turn signals in Farming Sim. If you do use them, this mod will ensure they turn off automatically. I bet everyone has been frustrated at least once when opening a silo, seeing too much plastic disappear, especially anyone with even a little experience in real farming. Personally, it hurts my eyes to see such an exposed silo. I'm not even talking about being able to cover it again, but it would be nice to be able to open it more gradually. It would be great to have such an option in the next version of the game, but for now we can be satisfied with a mod that allows us to recover the silo before it rains. Although in the game, the silage finish won't spoil, we can pretend it might. Additionally, this modification offers silage covers in various colors to keep things interesting. I bet no one uses this option, but thanks to this mod, it will start to make sense. I'm talking about crop destruction. After all, who would want to destroy their own crops? Admittedly, it's not very realistic when fertilizing, but this mod changes that. When sowing the field, it creates so-called tram lines, which we can use to move around once our crops have grown. This makes it much more convenient since we can play from a first-person perspective instead of staring at the ground to make sure we're driving correct. There are ghosts in Farming Simulator. I know it's just a game and I'm nitpicking, but in the previous episode, we already chased away one ghost, which I recommend checking out. This time, we'll deal not only with a ghost, but also with a bug that I think annoys more than just me. Specifically, when we fill our vehicle to the brim, the refueling icon still appears, just like when the fuel tank is empty. As for the ghost, it magically refuels our tank. How else can you explain fuel magically teleporting into the tank while we're in the tractor? But don't worry, we can fix all of this by adding this mod. While it does require you to get out of the tractor to refuel since there's no refueling animation, let's consider that a limitation in mod creation rather than the author's laziness. I might surprise many people, but on small and sometimes medium-sized farms, there aren't always machines for spreading straw for the animals. It's often done manually, for example, using pitchforks. In Farming Simulator, not only are there no pitchforks, but there's also no way to open a bale to feed the animals. However, there's a mod that allows you to open bales, enabling you to simulate life on a small farm by giving your animals fresh hay rather than throwing in a whole bale that will sit there for weeks. Factories in Farming Simulator are extremely boring. There's just a factory that takes a product from one side and spits it out the other, and we manage everything from a menu as if we were some kind of farm manager. But this game isn't really about that because we are supposed to simulate a farm. Sure, we can also simulate firefighting, but it would be nice to simulate some factories as well, and for that we'll need an inconspicuous sawmill. I said inconspicuous because from the outside it looks like an ordinary boring factory, which we are used to in Farming Simulator. However, when we go inside, we can feel like we're working in a real sawmill or have turned on a sawmill simulator because everything here is lively and brilliantly animated. The only interaction we can engage in is with the light switch, but at least it's visually pleasing because we can watch the entire process of a simple tree turning into something completely different. This modification also answers the question of why factories are so boring in Farming Simulator. The reason is that if every factory were this large, we wouldn't have enough room on the maps because this simple sawmill is the largest factory you'll see in this game. The only plus is that we can sometimes check why the production has slowed down.